And now onto our dinosaur of the day, Cumnoria, which was a request from Tyrant King via our Patreon and Discord, so thanks. It was a basal iguanodontian that lived in the Late Jurassic in what is now Oxfordshire, United Kingdom, found in the Kimmeridge Clay Formation. And iguanodonts, they started around the Middle Jurassic and lived until the end of the Cretaceous. There's been some debate over whether or not Cumnoria is Camptosaurus. It did look similar to Camptosaurus. Another dinosaur that looked similar to Camptosaurus was Uteodon, our dinosaur of the day in episode 521, but is now considered to be a species of Camptosaurus, depending on who you ask. Cumnoria was small and walked on two legs. It had shorter arms, a long tail, and a long-ish head. The holotype includes a partial skull and skeleton, and it had a slender build. It was about 11.4 feet or 3.5 meters long. The holotype, though, is probably a juvenile based on lack of fusion in the vertebrae and ribs. In adult iguanodontians, those bones are fused, and that's why the holotype's thought to be a juvenile. Even though the specimen's a juvenile, it doesn't affect it being classified as a basal iguanodont because the characters used in ornithopod phylogenies aren't really influenced by changes in their growth.
That sounds like somebody arguing for it being its own genus talking.
Could be, but for now it's considered a basal iguanodont. It was well preserved, there's not much crushing or distortion. And it was unique with features such as a prominent ridge on the shoulder bone and an oval muscle scar on its arm bone. It also had robust feet. The fossils were found at Cumnorhurst, a hill near Cumnor, Oxfordshire, in the UK. It was found in 1879.
Whoa.
Yeah. They were found while the area was being excavated for a tramway. They first ended up in a dump heap, but then were later collected and shown to George Rolleston, an anatomist from Oxford University. He showed them to Joseph Prestwich in 1879, who said that they were a new species of iguanodon, but didn't give it a species name. Then in 1880, Prestwich published an article on the stratigraphy of where the fossils were found, and later that year, John Hulk named the fossils Iguanodon prestwichii in honor of Prestwich. In the first description, he wrote, quote, "The skull is wanting, except a small fragment."
So basically no skull, except for a tiny piece.
Yeah. And in 1880, Hulk wrote that its, quote, "head was lizard-like with large eyes and capacious nostrils." He also wrote, quote, "Unfortunately, as too frequently happens, the removal of the fossils by the unskillful hands of day laborers has occasioned much damage and many losses. The bones had already been much crushed by the pressure of the beds, but many of the fractures are plainly quite recent."
Yeah, that happens a lot when something's getting excavated not for paleontology purposes.
Yeah.
And then you notice it later.
But it wouldn't have been found if that tramway wasn't being built.
Yeah.
Probably. In 1888, Harry Seeley renamed those fossils as Cumnoria prestwichii.
So it got a separate genus.
Yes. And just the one eye at the end.
Oh, interesting.
The genus name Cumnoria is after Cumnor, the village where it was found. But then in 1889, Richard Lydecker said that it was Camptosaurus prestwichii, which many scientists over the years agreed with. Then it was back to possibly being Cumnoria in 2008 by Nation Martel. And then McDonald in 2011 said it was Cumnoria, and that was reaffirmed in 2020 by Barrett and Wills. Susanna Maidman and others in 2023 redescribed Cumnoria, and they found it to be distinct from Camptosaurus and valid, with two unique features in the shoulder. There's not many late Jurassic ornithopods from Europe that are known. There's only Calavisaurus, based on an isolated femur or thigh bone found in the UK. There's also Eostriosaurus and Draconix from Portugal, and then also Cumnoria. From the Kimmeridge Clay Formation of the UK, there's only 4 valid dinosaurs. They include, of course, Cumnoria, but also the Stegosaur Decentrurus, the Titanosauriform Duryatitan, and the Tyrannosauroid Juratyrant. The holotype of Cumnoria includes an incomplete skull, including a partial brain case, vertebrae from the neck, back, and tail, ribs, part of an arm, part of the hips, parts of the legs, and parts of the feet and a hand. But we do need more fossils to better understand this dinosaur.
A head might help.
Yeah, a more complete one. Other animals that lived around the same time and place include sauropods, theropods, sea turtles, and pterosaurs.
Watch out, sea turtles. There's sauropods afoot.
They're fine. They were fine. And our fun fact for this Dino Duels competition episode is that John Wooden is the most successful coach in the history of college basketball, and he guided UCLA to 10 national championships, but one of his streaks was broken by a dinosaur.
I feel like you did this one for your dad, who's a UCLA basketball fan.
He did this one because it's the third month of the year, and we're doing a Dino Duels competition.
Which may have some resemblance to something else that happens.
Yes. Specifically, that dinosaur was the Calgary Dinos, which were then known as the University of Calgary Dinosaurs. So UCLA won in 1964, 1965, and then they won again from 1967 every year through 1975.
It's a lot of years in a row.
Yes, but the Calgary Dinos won in 1966.
Broke up the streak.
Yes. Oh, as a side note, Wooden had the nickname the Wizard of Westwood, though apparently he didn't like that nickname. And he was renowned for his coaching and inspirational messages. He's known for his pyramid of success. That's his philosophical building blocks for succeeding at basketball and life. And he's won many awards, and he had a long life and career. He died at age 99 in 2010. But back to the Calgary Dinos, because we're not a basketball show.
So we're going to talk about this basketball team.
Well, we're talking about the Dinos that happened to be a team. In 1964, 2 years before the University of Calgary officially split from the University of Alberta, they adopted the dinosaur mascot to honor all the paleontological sites in the area. And their first iteration was this bipedal lizard snake-like creature, which has changed over the years.
It's good to hear.
Yeah. So in the 1960s, it walked on two legs, it had this yellow belly, and the rest was red. It looked to me kind of like Pete the Dragon, but no wings or hair and a smaller, more snake-like head.
I don't really know Pete the Dragon. Is that a kid's book?
I know it from the Disney movie, but I don't know if that's the original source.
Okay. But that's the one you're talking about, Disney movie Pete the Dragon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the 1970s, the Calgary Dino looked more fearsome. It still walked on two legs, but it had a lizard-like tongue and a very long, dragging tail. Then, in the 1980s, they made it look much friendlier. It got more plump. It was white but wore red and carried a red flag. It was a bit Barney-like. It had 4 fingers on each hand, and it got a name, Dexter. And then, from 1998 to 2013, it looked more like a Jurassic Park velociraptor. It was fierce, the mouth was full of sharp teeth, and it was back to red.
That's not too surprising. In the 90s, they would make it more raptor-like.
Mm-hmm. And then from 2013 to now, I would say it's a little bit more cartoonish, but also more accurate. The teeth are more accurate. It clearly has 2 fingers. So overall, just more scientifically accurate, which I know that they put a lot of effort into.
So they made it like a T-Rex?
I think it was always meant to be like a Tyrannosaur.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because those other descriptions did not sound like T-Rex.
No. But yeah, it's red with the yellow belly. Oh, and the present-day mascot has a new name called Rexosaurus. So there you go, to answer your question.
Rexosaurus, like there's Tyrannosaurus and Rex. I guess they needed it to be unique.
I'm surprised they weren't going for Albertosaurus.
Yeah, that would have been a smart call. Maybe it's because they're not the University of Alberta.
Oh, maybe.
Although it's Albertosaurus, not Albertosaurus. So.
Right, as you were saying earlier.
Not the University of Alberto.
Yes. Well, anyway, the school has a saying, which I like. It's that once a dino, always a dino.
That is good. Taking it back, because a lot of people don't want to be called a dinosaur, because sometimes that means like you're outdated.
Mm-hmm. Not in our world.
They're embracing it too. That's good.
Yes. So that wraps up this episode of I Know Dino. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. In our next episode, we will be back. We'll probably have some new dinosaurs to talk about. We'll also have a special treat related to our upcoming National Geographic book, which will be coming out in just a few weeks on April 1st. And of course, we'll be keeping up with the Dino Duels, which, again, if you want to make your picks, head over to bit.ly/dinoduelspicks.
Or just go to bit.ly/dinoduelsrules.
Yes, that too.
And the top of that will have links to the other places you might want to go.
Thanks again, and until next time.
Good day.